Good evening, I'm Brian Entin. Welcome to our special report. A historic congressional hearing drew lines of spectators to the nation's capital, where under oath, 3 witnesses told lawmakers and the world, we are not alone and our government has proof. Remember, this all started with Pentagon whistleblower David Grush, who sat down with investigative journalist Ross Coulthart for an exclusive interview with News Nation. He alleged the U.S. government has a secret crash retrieval program and claims it is in possession of UFOs, even bodies of dead pilots. David Grush sat before a House Oversight Committee this week alongside former Navy pilot Ryan Graves and Black Aces Squadron Commander David Fravor, both who say they saw something not of this world. You are going to hear their testimony tonight, along with some new major developments that have come out since that hearing, what Russia knows about UFOs, and reports Russian warplanes have actually engaged with UFOs. Then we will discuss it all with our panel of experts, including investigative journalist Ross Coulthart, who first broke this story right here on News Nation. Whether you believe it's UFOs or something else, it seems like there is something out there that top government leaders do not want us to know, something that is being hidden. So let's start with that allegation of a cover-up deep inside our own government, and the stunning moment when David Grush reveals to Congress just how high the stakes are.
Thank you for being here, brother. Thank you all very much. Have you faced any retaliation or reprisals for any of your testimony or anything on these lines?
Yeah, I have to be careful what I say in detail because there is an open whistleblower reprisal investigation on my behalf, and I don't want to compromise that investigation by providing anything that may help provide somebody information. But it was very brutal and very unfortunate, some of the tactics they used to hurt me both professionally and personally, to be quite frank. Yeah.
It's very unfortunate. As they say, when you're over the target, that's when they do the most firing at you. Do you have any personal knowledge of people who have been harmed or injured in efforts to cover up or conceal these extraterrestrial technology?
Yes. Personally.
Have anyone been murdered that you would think, that you know of or have heard of, I guess?
I have to be careful asking that question. I directed people with that knowledge to the appropriate authorities.
Maybe in a, if we could get in a confidential area, SCIF, we could talk about that. But unfortunately, we were denied access to the SCIF, and that's very unfortunate in this scenario.
You heard Representative Tim Burchett just reference a SCIF. You're going to hear that word a lot tonight. It refers to a sensitive, compartmentalized information facility, essentially an ultra-secure room for government contractors and officials to review some of the nation's most sensitive and classified documents and information. This is all to protect our national security, which was also a top concern from this week's witnesses, especially when it comes to technology associated with UFOs.
This is for any one of you. Based off of each of your experiences and observations, do you believe UAPs pose a potential threat to our national security?
I'll do it. Yes, and here's why. The technology that we faced was far superior than anything that we had, and you could put that anywhere. If you had one, you captured one, you reverse engineered it, you got it to work, you're talking something that can go into space, go someplace, drop down in a matter of seconds, do whatever it wants, and leave, and there's nothing we can do about it. Nothing.
Okay. You two?
Well, I would also like to add, from a commercial aviation and military aviation perspective, we deal with uncertainty in our operating space as a matter of our professional actions. Identifying friend from foe is very important to us. And so when we have unidentified targets and we continue to ignore those due to a stigma or a fear of what it could be, that's an opening that our adversaries can take advantage of.
What steps should be taken to better understand and respond to UAP encounters in the interest of national security?
There needs to be a location where this information is centralized for processing, and there needs to be a two-way communication loop so that operators on the front end have a feedback and can get best practices on how to process information, what to do, and to ensure that their reporting is being listened to. Right now, there is not a lot of back and forth.
Mr. Grush, in your complaint to the intelligence community inspector general, you claim that you believe information is being hidden. What kind of information do you think was hidden, and do you think it should remain hidden?
Yes, I can speak to that very briefly in an unclassified manner. As you know, the preponderance of my complaint was classified to the intelligence communities. Both material acquisition and exploitation activity, also baselining the UAPs but not sharing it with, intelligence professionals that are actually doing step briefs to pilots, that kind of information.
So why do these pilots, Ryan Graves and David Fravor, say they believe what they saw in the skies were not of this earth? Here is exactly what they said under oath.
Mr. Graves, again, I'd like to know, how do you know that these were not our aircraft?
Some of the behaviors that we saw in a working area, we would see these objects being at 0.0 Mach, that's zero airspeed, over certain pieces of the ground. So what that means, just like a river, if you throw a bobber in, it's going to float downstream. These objects were staying completely stationary in Category 4 hurricane winds. These same objects would then accelerate to supersonic speeds, 1.1, 1.2 Mach, and they would do so in very erratic and quick behaviors that I don't have an explanation for.
Okay. Have you spoken to commercial and military pilots that have seen these off of our East Coast?
I have.
Okay.